So does the future ever freak you out? Like, do you ever stop to think, hey, will I still be relevant? What skills do I need? What skills do my children need to be relevant in the future? Well, today I want to talk about one specific skill that I guarantee you and your children and their children, perhaps, will need for the future. So stick around. All right, so welcome to Lead Loud. My name is Richard Mulholland. I'm the founder and chief evangelist of Presentation Powerhouse. Missing link. Now, the topic I want to talk to you today isn't one so much about presentations, what we do, but it's a discussion that I had with my team this week that I think is absolutely relevant to everybody. And it's a skill that I think we all need to have in order to future-proof ourselves. Now, as I mentioned, the coolest thing about this skill is it will already make you better at what you do today. It's a skill that we all need. Most people don't practice, and most people don't do very well. What is that skill? Asking the right question at the right time. So now I hear you say that you might not think that this is that important, that fundamental a skill, but I really believe that it is. In fact, I think it is absolutely critical. And I want to give you a framing. I want you to imagine a scenario. So you're in a brainstorming room with your team, okay? And you brainstorm things and you're trying to brainstorm an idea for a flying car. Now, I guarantee if you sat down with people and you said, okay, for the next 3 days, let's brainstorm how to create a flying car. You would sit there and the team would break away and they'd come up with their creative ideas and they would go and they would think about a car and then they would imagine how it would look. And they put these there's always variations of how these things look. The one is like these hair dryers kind of from the bottom and it takes off kind of Back to the Future style. Another would be, I don't know, like these kind of little micro wings that come at the side and it takes off that way. And in all of them, people dress like they're space people and things. Now, none of these would fly. Okay, none of these cars will take off. But here's the thing. Flying cars actually exist. You can buy them. But it's funny, I remember the first time I looked at one of these flying cars and I thought, okay, I understand how this works. This, by the way, was something that I wrote about in my book, Legicide, which is up there, which just made me realize that my other two books fell down. Oh. Here they are. They didn't fall down. I took them down. Have you read my books? I think you should read my books. richmulholland.com/books. getrich.af/books. I digress. Anyway, so this is a company and they've invented a flying car. And I remember looking at it and thinking, I know what they did. They asked a different question. And the question that they asked was relatively simple. The question they asked is, how do we make an airplane drive? Now, here's why this is interesting. Because if you think about it, we solved flying actually around the same time that we solved driving. It wasn't that far apart in the bigger swing of things that we drove on streets and we flew in the skies. We're talking a couple of decades here that we figured these two things out. And yet, whenever we try to think about flying cars, we think of the difficult thing about making an object like this defy physics and, take off through the air. Well, instead of trying to think about an object like an airplane and think, well, how do we make the airplane roadworthy? And as soon as you think about that, it's an obvious answer. If I asked your team to sit down and brainstorm, make this airplane roadworthy for me, I would give any group of people about 30 minutes and the immediate thing they would think about is, we got to fold away the wings. So you'd have, it would either fold away like a W or it would fold up or it would fold back, but that would be the only way that you would solve for it. You see, changing the frame of the question changes everything. Now, the reason I think that this is a skill that we need for the future is we are moving into a future that is owned by tools, or will be owned by tools, or facilitated by tools that run AIs. AIs like, say, OpenAI or Midjourney, or some of these amazing DALL-E, GPT-3 tools are all available. And I've been playing a lot with these tools of late, but what I've discovered is that the quality of the answer is directly proportionate to the quality of the question. And if you've been playing with any of the AI tools that you see now, you'll realize that, it comes down to the quality of the question we input that will dictate the answer. Now, we were chatting about this the other day, a group of friends and I, and one of them turned around and he said, oh, this is terrible. I can't show this to my kids because all they will do is cheat at homework. You can use a GPT-3 generator to develop an essay for school. But then you think about it and you think, well, hold on a second, is it cheating? Because if we're trying to educate our kids for the future that they will inherit, what do they need? Good copywriting skills or the ability to input into an AI the details and the questions they need for it to solve for the output that they require. Should they know how to write? Absolutely. But should they know how to program an AI to do the homework for them? 100% yes. In fact, a test subject for schools should be fool the teacher. Get this AI to write an essay that they think is mine. Like, rate which essay is yours and which essay is the AI's. Because this is what we need. Now, the other thing about this and why it matters so much and why it's such a present skill right now is because it's something that we all need if we want to grow. Let me explain. One of my closest friends in the world, Nick Haralambous, he has a keynote that he does on the topic of curiosity. And in it, he puts forward this idea that all organizations, all future thinking organizations should have curiosity as a core value. And when I first heard this, I thought, how can any organization not have curiosity as a core value? He talks about the idea, they all talk about innovation, but innovation is an output of curiosity. And it makes me think, because curiosity, ruthless curiosity, is absolutely one of my personal core values, but it's something that I have to bring into my business. I have to make people want to ask more interesting questions as opposed to just giving them answers. The old world of leadership was giving people answers, giving them guidance in that way. The new world of leadership is prompting people to ask more meaningful questions, to cultivate this curious mindset, because it is a skill that will give them an unfair advantage today and that will be absolutely mandatory tomorrow. So that's what I want you to take away and think about. I want you to look at every problem that you're facing this week. And instead of trying to think of what is the answer, to think about how can I reframe the question? Almost nothing, whether you're writing a talk, doing a presentation, working on a project, there's almost no place or no case in which reframing the question and asking it in a better way would not be better. So that's the thought for this week. I hope you found it valuable. Until next time, ask better questions and lead loud.